Welcome back, everybody. I will be taking over announcing for the next run, as our previously scheduled announcer Sleepless will now be running 007 Nightfire on PC any %. This run does have an ongoing incentive to be met still, another £50 towards re-entry with no space gear. Sleepless, if you want to say a little more about that.
Yeah, so the final level has a bug where sometimes you'll load in with the loadout of the previous mission, where you're supposed to have space set up. So I have a save for each of those. So if the donation's met, I'll load the one that takes the weapons from the previous mission and use that for the final level instead.
Wonderful stuff. So you have about an hour to get in that money if you want to see that. Until then, if you could just count us in.
Yep, okay. I would say 3, 2, 1, go. So Nightfire has two versions. There's the console version that people might be more familiar with, and the PC version, which runs on the Source engine. But this allows me to do things like bunny hopping and circle jumping, although for reasons that are probably best described by someone else in the community, they call it P-jumping. So the first trick is we're asked to go onto a back of a truck in order to sneak into this castle, but that's a bit slow. So instead you just hop onto the trigger point to do that, and it will take you in instead of having to wait. This next trick, I have a very poor chance of being able to do, but I will try it a few times just because it's well worth watching. And it saves a lot of time if I can get it done. Not gonna even make a decent attempt at it. I'll make this our last go and then do it the boring way. So there's a skip there that allows you to jump over the castle perimeter and straight into the next scene. But it's incredibly hard to do. I'll explain a bit more about how it works later. But for now, we'll take the long way around. So this is the door that I would be outside if that trick had gone well. We're going to load into here and we'll lose our weapons. We're basically breaking into a party, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. And now for a real James Bond moment, we'll just take pictures of all of the women in this party. Say cheese. So there'd normally be cutscenes, but we delete the movie files from the game so that you just skip straight through them. So anytime you see a screen flicker, then that means the cutscene has been skipped. So now I'm sneaking into a meeting that the host is doing, which I would argue is an incredibly bad time to have an evil meeting while you're hosting a party. But what do I know about being evil and taking over the world? So you pick up a rocket launcher, load on, and kill myself. That's terrible. I've never done that before, so marathon luck is live. So we want to try and line up the missile and then fire off a second one as a helicopter's about to spawn, and this is the quickest way of taking it out. So it spawns, the first one hits, and there's the second. So this level has a very good skip that I am incredibly unable to do. I'll explain a little bit about how it works a bit later. First, so we need to sneak around the back, turn off searchlights, and move back, and then get told to turn off the searchlights because we went too fast.
James, there's a generator or control box nearby for the spotlight. Maybe we can... Okay, James.
We take out the people on the guard tower here. So, a bit about some of the movement. So, by continually hopping and strafing while turning your mouse in that direction, you can gain speed. You can gain a massive burst of speed by crouching just as you hit the floor and jumping out of it. A bit like that. The direction I found to be a bit hard to manage, so I've been unable to do it reliably, and it requires a bit of speed built up before you can actually do it. So it's an annoying trick to do, but using that trick, there is a snowplow scooper over there that you can launch off of and use a grenade to bounce yourself to the top of the tower, which is where I'll be in about a minute's time. So it saves like maybe a minute and a half on this mission if done well. And on the first mission, you can use it to boost yourself over some walls. So we stunned that guard at that time. You can't really do it any earlier, otherwise you get noticed and you have to be sneaky.
James, be careful.
So we just blur through all of the cameras that we were just warned about.
Do you have a moment for a explanation?
Sure. I've got to wait for this camera to pass.
We just had £51 from Sinjo towards your donation incentive, so that's now been met, and also towards the day theme to be used, so next run we should be in day theme again. Comment said, no space gear, let's go. And also, that brings our total raised this event over 500, so thank you very much everyone who's donated.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Sinjo. Oh. I was supposed to shoot out the window there and drop down to save a little bit of time. Too bad I pulled out a gun that didn't have any ammo in it. Oh. Shaky hand. This is the aim that gets me silver in Valorant. Right, normally we'd have to go all the way back down that building, but there's a little bit of a grapple that you can use to boost yourself down here. But that saves a fair bit of time in the long run. And we can now just take out guards as they spawn. So we're basically just going to have to wait for the companion to make it this. And for some reason they like to take their sweet time about it. So we'll do a little bit of spawn camping. This is what you get for being predictable. So while we wait for that, just do a quick couple of laps around the perimeter. Just the one. And now we are simply going to ignore all of the guards shooting at me. Get special treatment. we just go straight to the checkpoint because going through here despawns all of the enemies behind us. And now we need to move to the radar tower. Just take out the people here, drop back down. And now I'm going to act as passport control for people trying to board our plane. So I will be demanding people passports. They hit me, they get a sniper rifle. And a refusal to show passports mean that you will be handed a live hand grenade. And don't say you weren't warned. With border checks out the way, we've just got to wait a little bit for the plane to get fueled, and then we'll be, ready to move on to the next mission, more or less. Annoying amount of downtime in certain missions. There's an interesting interaction with this plane. It's a solid object for now, and you can stand on top of it, and in a moment, it won't be. In your own time.
Plane is fueled. Fuel pressure good. Hydraulics appear to be functional. All systems go. Here goes nothing.
We have had another £1.44 donation towards Night Theme, so the fight is still going strong.
Wonderful. So now we just got to wait for the plane to taxi. Frankly, I don't see the point of it, given that I can practically fly already, but the mission demands it, so it will be done. And we have escaped in the aircraft. That's a little slower than I'd normally do, but... Right, so we shoot that guy, he'll go through the window and then die dramatically. So we just need to take out all the guards there.
We're close to the bunker.
Alright.
Has been in the family. Real MI6 patrol is sweeping up for any idea what that is of is worth your the Moroccan border.
Literally just destroying things. One of my favourite lines is there. We didn't get to hear it, which is a shame. Now, normally we'd have to do a tour of the whole mansion, but fortunately, inside this hidden room, there is a smaller, hiddener room, and it's full of buttons. And if you activate those buttons with a hand grenade, you complete all of the missions that you were supposed to do, and move on to the next stage. Oh no. This is not good aim. So that's that mission done. Comfortably the shortest one. So this is a need to be sneaky mission, and I'm not allowed to shoot any of the night guards. So I'm going to be punching quite a few people because of this. And you may be able to hear them snore when they punch, because being punched is basically going into a deep sleep. Gonna make a save here. There's a one-way mirror here, or one-way bit of glass. Oh, and I got spotted. So we'll do this again, and we'll just take the longer way. Oh, and I got spotted, so we'll do it again. You can tell by the music. There we go. That's for trying to deactivate the alarm twice.
Bond, you'll need the decryptor to hack into the system.
Main elevator.
So zoom to the elevator, and we'll just prep our weapons and gadgets for the next bit.
Invisible laser tripwires in the offices upstairs. Your vision enhancement glasses. Don't forget that your glasses can detect hidden laser tripwires.
There we'll do a bit of property destruction, because it's faster.
There are security cameras on this floor too. If you see one, be careful not to cross its range-finding beam. Bond, that looks like the target computer. Install the
So we're basically just going around bugging people's computers. And that's exactly what bugging looks like. We'll bring the guards over to there, because if a camera sees a sleeping guard, it will go off, which I found a bit weird. So if they see you, you want to pull them to that point, because it's a blind spot. And deactivate the lasers. And then we'll move on to the upstairs.
Office floor laser trip switches test cycle. Now
Oh no. Gonna have to take him out. You can get by him, but you need to go very fast. Fortunately, the glass is also equipped with a silencer there, so he doesn't care.
penthouse elevator online.
Oh, somehow that first punch didn't knock him out, so I'm gonna have to go through this again.
Penthouse elevator online. Security override. Penthouse
Seem injured. Take my card.
The security protocols in the penthouse elevator are far more complex than we'd anticipated. Drake must be hiding something extremely valuable up there.
So now we're going to move on to comfortably the worst part of this level, which is going to be magnetically grappling up the side of this building. Oh, or throwing myself off the edge, because I really don't want to go up the building.
Bond, I suggest you use the Q grapple to scale the side of that building. Now, I've never actually tested them on a wet surface.
So the annoying thing about this is the guards are on cycles, but they're not predictable ones. Also, I'm still being shot at. I don't think I've ever had that happen before, so I'm really making up for some of the other runs where never happened before, never occurred.
Tested them on a wet surface, but I suspect that you'll be just fine.
Q, your confidence is overwhelming.
You can see this guy will start hunting me down, but will eventually lose track. Just run around blindly. We have to go up the window while not being spotted by guards. Largely, it's not a problem, but one of these is an incredibly annoying one, and the cycles are hard to read because they change so rapidly. You can get spotted by this guard after he gets to that point, and he will never activate an alarm, but he will, like, keep shouting at you. So yeah, this is the annoying one, because the way that they move is a little erratic, but I think I've looked out that I... Oh, no. Never mind. So he shoots, the alarm goes off, and I have to go back to the autosave, or the quick save.
I suggest you use the Q grapple to scale the side of that building. Now, I've never actually tested them on a wet surface, but I suspect that you'll be just
With proper luck, you can just go and press W, or whatever your forward key is, through the entire thing, but it's very imprecise. He isn't even looking this way. So we'll go for this once more. I'd mind it a lot less, but the paths that they take seems to change randomly. I can never figure out where they're actually going to go. I'm hoping that he's going to just keep walking and not stop 5 footsteps in. There we go. At the very least, if you get spotted when you're right at the top, they won't react. This has got to be one of the slowest climbs of this building that I've ever done. Oh no. The cycles. The annoying thing is that you can't save part way up.
I suggest you use the Q grapple to scale the side of that building. Now, I've never actually tested them on a wet surface, but I suspect that you'll be just fine.
Q, your confidence is overwhelming.
Gotta be honest, of all the parts in the run that I thought could go horrifically badly, I didn't expect this to go quite this bad. Normally, one reset is enough to get a good enough path.
Stop right there.
So yeah, if there's any donations to read out while I go through this again, now would be a decent time.
Nothing since the big one, but do remember we'll be changing to our light theme after this run, so if you want to stop that happening, you have to donate towards the poll.
Oh, look at this. He's on a completely different path now. He's not even going to stop and turn around at the edge of the window, he's just walking far away. And this is what I mean about the cycles being, like, really hard to predict. It looks like it's going to be the same thing, and then it just isn't. I'm going to take a bit of a chance here, but yeah, this is fine. Even if he sees me, he won't start shooting. There we go. Oh, well, that was painful. Yeah, comfortably the worst part of this level. But I'm through it now at least. So we'll do a little more hacking.
That door must be for the terminal room. Let's hope Mayhew's key works.
And now we just break into the big Google-esque data center. Look, it's liquid cooled. Truly state of the art. And it's a good thing that the security is so lax. At least until after you've looted.
You have the Nightfire data. Excellent. Before you leave, however, we need to get a better idea of what Drake is planning next. Place a bug in the executive meeting room and...
Now, this is supposed to be a penthouse suite. An interesting office design, to say the least. Can't even overlook, like, the majority of the city. So now we've got another helicopter to deal with, but unlike the other one where you could just take it down with a couple of rockets, this one has weird timings instead. So I typically just shoot the plane until white smoke comes out, and then at some point it's going to fire rockets that will destroy a bit of environment, which moves on to the next step. Meantime, we'll just play bullet hell. Fine. The guns from a helicopter don't really hurt. So that's the first bit of environment destroyed. We need to wait for it to sort of duck back down. Now we just wait for the cycle to pass, and it will launch another rocket into the penthouse suite, costing millions in property damage. But it's fine as long as you can kill one person, right? And this gives access to a rocket launcher, which we can use to launch rockets. Whee! That was fun. The rocket launcher doesn't actually provide any more use than a regular gun here, since it's timing based. And literally, the tiniest amount of damage will take it out when it finally gets around to it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the bug in the office probably isn't going to do much anymore. But what can you do? That's the last bit of environment that it's going to destroy. We just have to wait for it to duck back down and start coming up again. And then we can finally destroy it and move on with our lives. There we go. Yeah. So now I have been teleported to an air vent. The spy standard for sneaking around. Do a Goomba stomp this lad. We destroy that window for access later. my aim has seriously deteriorated in the last hour or so. So we're going to take an elevator down to the basement, and then try and access a secret facility. And then we learned that we need to disable some locks, so we're going to have to go all the way back around into here to disable some security or other. Back up to where we just were. And now we're going to use one of Bond's secret powers, which is being able to push a button while there is a pane of glass in the way. It's faster to go across the top of those, but since I've fallen down there, I'll take the long way around. Press the button normally. And we'll try this again. Going back. The landing there. I've always found it so much harder to like keep up speed P-jumping while people are shooting at you. I don't know if anybody else has encountered that. So now we'll equip the spacesuit that would be in the last level, but we won't do that. But we do use it for this. Now we need to sit and wait until we're completely submerged in water. As we all know, being underwater is basically the same as being in space, so this makes for ideal space training. I wiggle side to side slightly while moving, because I think that the speed up that you get from strafing while moving your mouse in the direction still exists. But it doesn't work the same, because you have to keep moving forward, so you don't get that bigger speed up. But we're going to get gated by lasers anyway. And with all good things, the third one has a slightly different pattern that you can't go through straight away. You have to wait for the second laser to come up. They're just to lure you into a false sense of security and make you restart. Oh, I think I cut that one a little close. And that's it for space training. We will now drain the water from here. And we're about to move into basically the first boss fight as such. This is the guy that was in the helicopter in the first mission that we shot down, but he's tough enough to survive crashing a helicopter. But we're going to use the same tactic from the third mission to just peek through the door, and this confuses him. He's going to respond by being invisible, hiding himself behind there. This is irritating. Normally he goes down in the first few hits. really had it take this long for a while. That's about 20-30 seconds slower than I'd normally have. So now we're joining the auto-scroller queue. We slowly descend on an elevator of madness, while having to take out random guards that are destroying windows. The glazing company for this building is going to be making a killing, because this building is 90% window. So people are just going to keep coming around this corner, and I'm just going to keep shooting at them mindlessly for about half a minute. Because auto-scrollers are the best. So, once again, if there's any notification for donations, feel free to announce now.
Not currently, I'm afraid, but hopefully we'll be able to keep the night theme going on into the next run. Wink, wink.
In the meantime, I'll talk a bit about the community for this game. Despite it being almost 20 odd years old now, it still has a sort of small active community, mostly for multiplayer servers. You can download the game at nightfirepc.com, and it has links to community Discord, community forums, so feel free to check that out. There's amongst there guides for P-jumping if you're interested in speedrunning. In terms of actual runs for this, there aren't that many. There's an old one by Rice Cooker, who has the video for P-jumping, and another one by Losi, who is the world record holder and is responsible for me knowing about 90% of the skips that are in this. Their run is almost infinitely better than mine, so if you want to see that, then I would recommend checking it out. You can find the video on speedrun.com. And just remember that it's Nightfire PC, because the console version is completely separate. Actually, speaking of, I can discuss some of the differences between that, because aside from the source engine, a lot of the missions play slightly differently, despite the overall plot being the same. One of the major differences being that the console version has vehicle missions and this doesn't, which makes this a much better game by default, because the vehicle missions are easily the worst part of the console version. Okay. So I'm about to move to take out that man by zooming into his face. He's the only person that will fall by that method. Any other time that you go into someone at great speed, they will just body check you, which is highly unfortunate.
Send someone to check on the penthouse elevator. We're detecting a malfunction there.
Yes. now we're back in the office that we were being all sneaky in, but we're not being as sneaky this time. So we come over here just to open the gates. Got some more rounds for the sniper rifle. To pick up that rocket launcher as well. Hopefully that's done. Yeah. So now we're going to just blow up the server room a bit, because property damage is the only way to stop evil villains. I was hoping that would have got them all. There we go. And we're going to make our way to the stairway, which this probably has my favourite skip of the entire run, since normally you would have to descend, go through certain doors, go back to the staircase. This skip is a little finicky, but if it's done right, then you do avoid a lot of pain and probably a good couple of minutes. So we're just gonna, we're gonna try and free fall down the staircase for a bit, and hopefully, with any luck, I won't have to keep doing this too many times. There we go. I stopped a few floors early, but far enough down that I don't have to deal with any of the nonsense involved. So yeah, that can easily skip 5 minutes on a casual run. Even if you're going through it at a speedrun pace, it saves quite a lot of time. And now we've got to navigate around some tripwires. Make some data storage people incredibly unhappy. There is a skip for this, which I am very unable to do, that involves finding a key to set the game FPS to 1 while approaching that gate. Because of the FPS delay, it registers as you going through before the gate drops, but there's no other way of doing that without messing with the FPS. But yeah, I'm not able to do that. But it is very worth watching. The game judders to slideshow and you just appear on the other side of a locked gate. I think that's everyone, so we can discard the sniper rifle. We have to do this because you can only carry 4, like, gun weapons at a time. The frag grenades and other explosives don't count as guns. But this is probably the only mission where you have to sort of manage weapons very efficiently. And it's the reason why I threw one of the pistols off at the start. Oh dear. An automated turret there that does more damage than almost any of the guards ever will. So that's the most important target. Gonna go over here to pick up some armor, and then we're also gonna take out a trip mine that we will would have to run into later. Also, doors in this game are weird. I can never figure out which way they're going to open. It does seem to vary every time. So with that out of the way, we're going to descend into the basement for a bit more property damage. Because 90% of this mission is just trying to bankrupt a multimillionaire. so that his evil plans won't take place. So we zoom around the car park, just rocketing this. And then this final truck that has a guy with a gun in it actually doesn't get rocketed very well, so we just gun it down in a slightly more normal fashion. Made the cardinal sin of having to reload while trying to interact with the door. You can't interact with objects while reloading, so it's actually faster to switch weapon, but I normally don't think of that in time. So there's going to be a gate that you can hear drop in the background there. Normally you'd have to go around and reopen it, but if you're going fast enough you can just skip straight under. And now we're on the beach. This... Oh, okay. I got that first time. I almost never do. That's a nice minute time save just by going fast enough to boost yourself. But you also have to hit a specific point. I'm going to make the effort to take out that guard because I would much rather have a faster fire rate gun than a pistol. Okay, there's a small skip that you can do to jump over the banister there, but failed that one. Also failed shooting, apparently. So in this mission there's normally some explosives that you need to pick up, and another computer that you need to hack into. But there is a skip to avoid that. Oh, that's nice. Oh, and then I fell off, so now I have to move under here. That's less nice. And I did it again. Truly, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Take out him. Oh, I got that first time, that's nice. That's a hard grapple to hit from that angle. So instead of doing that, there is a trigger above this door that you can hit to move to the next bit. You need to crouch jump to get up. Normally, the door wouldn't open until you'd done the explosives and the hack, but yeah, just climb the door instead. They're going to just take a side detour to pick up some armor. Save the game. Going to try another skip. Grappling up to here. Oh, throwing ourselves off. But not taking any damage, which is good. Because health is something of a premium in this level. I missed the end. Done it again. I think I need to start slightly further back. Ah. This is going to be an annoying one if I have to take the long way around on this. Try it a couple more times. Oh. Ah, okay. It was a nice try. We'll just drop down here instead and take the long way around. I need to pick up that armor specifically. The aim of the skip is that you want to land on the platform on the other side of the door so that you don't have to waste time breaking this person out. Can't open the door until you've done that, so it's easier to just get on the platform behind it.
Quite the opposite, in fact. Drake is gathering his own arsenal.
Now we're going to zip across this sort of overcropping. This is very bad for trying to go quickly. There's a lot of things that you can hit that will just slow you down, and also a giant gap over the edge that will kill you if you go down it, so... You're also trying to avoid damage as much as possible, but I think this has been a relatively decent clear of it. And zoom into the next area. Pop a quick save. We're going to attempt to do another skip here. I was going slightly too fast and missed the edge there. There is a tower that we're going to aim to hit. There we go. This is a much shorter way of getting into that. You can grapple up, or you can take a different route that goes under the building. But those are much slower. There we go again for this one. Very clean. And
Cam, do you read me? Drake's business on this island is about much more than decommissioning missiles.
I'm cutting the voice line off early. In true James Bond style, we tell people what's going on, and then they just tell us to stop it. Oh. That's I didn't quick save the bit there. So we want to build a bit of speed off here so that we can go straight into the water rather than having to take a long way and drop and swim.
James, I found a jeep and I'm on my way back. But I've got a patrol on my tail. Meet me at the bridge. I'll need your help.
Okay, that's a okay time for that mission. So for this we're going to have to start by building a bit of speed. Clear the barrier. With some fortuitous timing you can get quite a bit of this. You also have to sometimes crouch while in midair in order to achieve it. I'm just a little concerned that I've taken this a bit too slowly and the gates dropped there. We need that to be open, so we're just going to retry this. The skip for it probably saves like a minute or so of game time, or maybe not quite that much. Oh no. Dropped it again. We'll try this one more time, and then if it doesn't go, then I'll have to take the long way. And already this is a lot faster. So It's a very movement sensitive sort of level. Oh, I made it through just in time. The gates were about to drop there. Ooh. That's a skip that's very... I was going to say it's not very hard to do if you know how to move fast, but it's easy to stumble, and once you've done that, it's a long recovery, or you try it again. So, photographing blueprints. We're going to try and use the movement here. Oh, I can hit the grapple, or get hit stunned while moving across. Normally there's a button that you have to activate in order to move the sort of grapple along, but with a bit of good air strafing you can avoid having to do that. So that's a nice time skip. Now normally you'd probably just sit on the train while it moved along this, but I am James Bond, I am the train. We are going to just zoom along here instead.
The bay doors have not been opened yet. We must find a way to destroy those missiles.
Doing that. Bit more hacking. It's just suggested that I fire nuclear missiles in a silo where the doors are closed, and I'm still not entirely convinced that this is an even remotely sensible idea, but what do I know about missiles? It's incredible the level of technology that tells you that they're definitely in the general vicinity, but not exactly where they are. I can only assume that they're using an old version of Apple Maps. Or that might be too generous. And we can hear all the alarms going off. And we'll put this guy to sleep, because why not? Basically, an aspect of this mission is these alarms are set to trigger doors that will spawn these elite guards. This is basically one of the few times that I'll ever interact with them. Just take them out as they spawn. Gonna pick up some health, which we'll then immediately spend on free falling down here. Quick save. This is normally pretty precarious, but with a bit of speed, you can just jump straight over all of the tripwires and not have to deal with them or the guards that would normally spawn. So we sneak into an out-of-order elevator that has its doors slightly open, because that's a sensible thing to do when your elevator's out of order. Fall down pointlessly. And now we get to pull out the grenade launcher for a whole 3 or so seconds. There we go. Oh, he's still alive. I'm usually a lot better at that. So we've now acquired ourselves a minigun, which will be incredibly useful for the next bit of this. I get getting notifications that I need to get into a bunker before the shuttle launches. There we go.
Well, James, things don't seem to be going very well.
Hide out in another bunker. I also like how the only of these lockers that you can open are the ones with padlocks. An incredibly secure system.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
After being temporarily blinded. Sit and wait for an elevator. Reach the top. And activate the button to end a level. I think that's a respectable time. Ah. Now, wonderfully, the book has already happened, so I don't need to oversave for it. So this is the final level, as being done without space gear, as the incentive was met. So I get to just keep all of my weapons from the previous mission, which is actually more convenient. There are a few bits of this that work a bit better when you don't have the base loadout. One of the things that you are lacking is the UI that normally comes with the spacesuit, which has an indicator for jetpack fuel. Fortunately, you never really needed that much for this mission. If it's done properly, you should only need to fill up once. So we're just diffusing nuclear missiles with the manual override, which obviously every missile has, just for, you know, safekeeping. Just in case you ever fire a missile and make a mistake, just climb on top of it, pull some levers and press the defuse button. And just get shot while you're waiting for all the animations to finish. There we go. This is a relatively decent pace. So now we're just going to move on to the last boss, as it were. And he is trivialized by stun locking him with a minigun. So time is coming up. 3, 2, 1. Time. That is the whole run. So yeah, this is a pretty entertaining game to run. Being able to sort of do the movement is very satisfying. Hard to learn, but it's great when you've mastered it, and there's always things that you can improve on. Yeah, so I would recommend checking out the world record for a few of the skips that I mentioned, but wasn't able to pull off. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Sleepless. We're going to go to a short break now, but do stay tuned because we've got Little Big Planet 3 coming up next by Liam 122221.